an interesting development that's happened in the United Nations. Watch this.
And I may say to some, it is exactly the safety of your nationals right now in Ukraine that you should be the first to vote to stop the war, to save your nationals in Ukraine, and not to think about whether you should or should not vote because of the safety of your nationals.
So, this is the Ukrainian ambassador in the United Nations who is speaking to the Indian ambassador, and he is saying you should worry about the safety of your nationals. You know what this behavior reminds me of? It reminds me of a gangster. This is gangster behavior. It's a gangster. It's the way a diplomat would speak. He's speaking diplomatically. His words have multiple meanings. You can interpret in any way you want. But he is essentially talking like a gangster. He's saying that, it would be a shame if something were to happen to your kids. We have your kids. It would be terrible. It would be a shame if something were to happen to them. That is what the Ukrainian ambassador was saying to the Indian ambassador. He's issuing a public threat in diplomatic language. That's what we are witnessing right now, right? So for those of you who are saying we should support Ukraine, we stand with Ukraine and all, this is the situation. This is pure gangsterism. It is as close a diplomat can ever come to issuing a public threat on a public platform. So that is where we stand today. Ukraine, and you know what's happened? There were about 20,000 Indian students in Ukraine because our education system is garbage. So our kids have to go to other countries. So about 20,000 Indian students were there. Most of them may still be there, and they wanted to come back to India, but the Ukrainian authorities said that if you leave, then you will be suspended and you will not be allowed to come back. So they were made to stay there, and now they are facing this problem. And I can assure you that the Russian troops will never touch an Indian citizen. The Russian troops will never harm an Indian citizen. And they are being very careful in the way they are proceeding. There are no civilian casualties that we know of. If there was any civilian casualty, it would be all over the Western media. So they are being very careful. They are not hurting civilians of any nationality. They are being precise and surgical in the military advance. So there is no question of any civilians being hurt. And yet the Ukrainian ambassador is threatening India in this manner. Worry about the safety of your citizens. This is the kind of gangsterism you're seeing, and the Western media will not report this.